مستمرين معكم مشاهدينا بفقرتنا الثانية، وبهذه الفقرة معنا سعادة السفير الأوكراني بلبنان إيهور أوستاش لنحكي عن آخر أعمال السفارة الأوكرانية. صباح الخير سعادة السفير. I always choose to welcome you in Arabic. I know you have good Arabic skills. Before we start to talk about the events of the Ukrainian embassy in Lebanon, I want to talk about the Lebanese and Ukrainian ties. As we know, it dates back to 1991, as Lebanon was among the first Arab country to recognize Ukraine's independence. Please tell us more about the Lebanese and the Ukrainian ties.
Yes, it's a very long history.
Yes.
We signed an agreement on diplomatic relations, and it lasted over 25 years.
Yes.
And our new building of Ukrainian embassy was constructed in 2011. And I'm in Lebanon already 5.5 years. It means that it's my last year in Lebanon. And also concerning the ties between Ukraine and Lebanon, I'd like to mention that there are over 5,000 Ukrainian Lebanese families, joint families. Around 1,000 lives in Ukraine and around 4,000 in Lebanon. It's a real bridge between Ukraine and Lebanon.
Yes. As I mentioned before, Your Excellency, you're a very active ambassador, and the Ukrainian embassy in Lebanon is indeed a very active one as well. We will start about talking about your visit to the Minister of Higher Education in Lebanon, Abbas al-Halabi. Please tell us more about this visit.
Yes, of course. Now it's almost 5 months of Russian aggression in Ukraine, and 149 days we are fighting for our freedom, for our territorial integrity, and of course this war had very serious impact on Lebanese students in Ukraine. They suffered a lot because Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, Dnipro were bombed by Russians, and a lot of time they spent underground in metro in Kharkiv, for example. Kharkiv is the city of student city. Over 44 universities in Kharkiv, and in 8 universities Lebanese students were studied. But now they are back to Lebanon or to Europe, and we discussed with Lebanese Minister of Education the issues of bilateral relations, especially about this package of Lebanese students. And first of all, we proposed a lot of new programs in Ukraine, especially abroad. Were established some Ukrainian programs, for example, in Poland, in Germany, in Slovakia. We also proposed new programs in Ukrainian western cities which are relatively safe, like Lviv, Uzhhorod, Mukachev, Ternopil. And the main message, it was about 100 scholarships for Lebanese students.
Tell us more about
of course, it's really very important for these times, and it takes some time because we need to sign first bilateral agreement, and then we will introduce this to Lebanese young people. By the way, there is a chance now to study online. Online and offline, but mostly it means that Ukrainian universities made a lot of changes, and they try to keep this Lebanese track, because I can say that over 12,000 Lebanese students already studied. You
also discussed opening a Ukrainian university campus in Lebanon.
Yes,
as well.
one of so-called exits from a very serious situation. It's Lebanese Ukrainian campus in Lebanon, It can be like a consortium of Ukrainian universities, and it's very good for Lebanese students. Of course, we also discussed the issue of medical students which study medical professions. It's also very important because online, actually it was discussion about online possibility to study online also for medical universities, and we confirmed this possibilities for Lebanese students.
Yes. On June 23rd, the Ukrainian embassy invited for a holy mass for peace in Ukraine. It was held in Turkey. Tell us more about this mass.
Yes, before I visited His Beatitude Patriarch Bishara Butros Rai at Kerke. By the way, I presented him this fantastic book. It's Injil, it's Gospel, which was printed in Aleppo in 1708 by expenses of Ukrainian ruler of Ukrainian Cossack state, Ivan Mazepa. It's a real confirmation of our long relations.
Indeed.
And it was a gesture of goodwill of our Hetman Mazepa to help Christians of the Middle East. We also discussed the issue of this terrible war, terrible losses with His Beatitude, and we asked for Holy Mass, and it was committed by Bishara Butros Rai. We invited a lot of Lebanese friends, Lebanese politicians, diplomatic corps from many countries.
Yes.
And it was also pray for innocent souls of Ukrainian children, Ukrainian elderly people, Ukrainian soldiers. Of course, we pray every day for Ukraine, and we really appreciate His Beatitude Bishara Butros Rai for this very important message also to Lebanese people.
On the other hand, the embassy is very active in art, everything that's related to art, and as we know, in collaboration with Exode, the embassy did an exhibition under title Lebanese Artist for Peace. It was held from July 8th till July 18th. Tell us more about this exhibition.
First of all, I'd like to say that this war is terrible because we lost already over almost 400 children, and 1,000 wounded. It's very sad losses for Ukrainians, and we decided to help one orphanage from Kharkiv city, which was totally ruined, destroyed by Russians, and they moved to the western Ukraine. And I asked Lebanese artists to donate at least, for example, one picture, one painting or one sculpture, and together with Exode, and I'd like to first of all to thank Christian Gostin and Nabil Wehbe. We organized twice two exhibitions. One first exhibition was held in Yacht Club Beirut, Zaytuna Bay, and second at Exode Gallery. Of course, we invited a lot of guests, and I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to such artists like Afaf Saade, Adham Al-Dimashki, Pierre Karam, Tamina Saade, Natalia Dziadek Habib, Maha Khaled, and many others, because around maybe over 25 artists donated their works to this exhibition. It was very emotional, and I saw this eyes of Lebanese artists, and it was very sincere support for Ukraine. And now we are continue with this cooperation with this orphanage. We are trying to find some very special place for summertime for these kids from Kharkiv, and it also shows us how Lebanese support Ukrainians in this very hard times for Ukraine.
Yes, Your Excellency, since it's your last year in office this year in Lebanon, unfortunately, and as I know you have a very personal relationship with Lebanon, you admire Lebanon. Tell us more about your journey in Lebanon these past 5 years.
Well, it was an amazing time for me. I felt in love with Lebanon immediately after my first look. And my first week in Lebanon, during my first week, we visited the highest peak of Lebanon, 3,088 meters.
Yes.
Corner Saudi, and it was so impressive for us. And of course, for me, Lebanon is one of the best countries in the world.
Yes.
Very deep history of many civilizations. It's like open museum, but it was a privilege for me to contact with Lebanese people. They, like Ukrainians, are very open-minded, are very hospitable, very talented, and it means that for me it was like my second mother. And of course there are some unique peculiarities for Lebanon, for example, like Lebanese cuisine.
Yes.
And Lebanese beauties, I can say, because Lebanon for me it's a country of beauties, of fantastic mountains and sea coast, and each and every day I sing Fairuz's song "Habbak Ya Lubnan" because it's real from my heart.
Lebanon loves you in return.
Yes.
At the end of our episode, we want to listen more about the future plans or future activities of the Ukrainian embassy in Lebanon.
A lot of activities
Yes.
we are planning. I still planning very important events. For example, it will be the opening ceremony of new museum in Dvorshveir,
Yes.
the museum of Hatan al-Krimsky, very famous Ukrainian orientalist and writer. We are also planning already fifth Ukrainian cinema festival that will be in September in 4 different cities in Lebanon, and of course a lot of political work. I'd like to say that we stay together with Lebanon. We understand the problems of economic crisis, and after Russia blocked our seaports, it was very serious problem with supply of wheat. Corn,
yes.
and sunflower oil from Ukraine. But we found alternative ways, and via port of Reni, and now I can say you that finally 4 first vessels from Ukraine arrived to Lebanon with corn, sunflower oil and wheat. It means that Ukraine will stay next to Lebanon to support Lebanese people, because we really appreciate this Lebanese support for Ukraine. Especially I'd like to thank Lebanese government for this very clear position to condemn the first country in Arab world. Lebanon condemned Russian aggression, and it's really very important for Ukraine, and we will stay together for many projects, and Lebanon and Ukraine are very close friends.
I really do hope the best for the Lebanese and Ukrainian ties, and I want to thank you, Your Excellency Éihor Ostash, the Ukrainian ambassador to Lebanon, for always taking time to be with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
مشاهدينا نحن مستمرين معكم فاصل وبنرجع.